So this here is our first canning session in the new remodeled kitchen. And wow, did it take forever. First off, I got the wrong chicken. I meant to get boneless. We got bones. This skillet is not gonna cut it. That there on the counter is the canner. So I'll need 2 stock pots going to do this job. And I'm going to go ahead and boil the chicken, which is going to create a pretty decent weak broth. And then I'll set the chicken aside to cool. And I can keep this broth and make a pretty nice batch of chicken broth. Now that the chicken is cooled enough, I went ahead and cut out the hideous parts where I debone the chicken and toss the bones in the broth. Now I'm getting out my canning equipment. Some of it's on the counter. And while I'm setting that up, the broth is continuing to boil. I'm heating up the glass jars so they don't get shocked by hot liquids. And I've double checked all my lids for the canner and the jars to make sure they're clean. And now I can start packing the chicken into the jars. I pack them pretty full using this funnel to help me out. And then I put hot broth over them. This hot broth is what makes this a hot pack job. You can see here I'm filling them up to about 1 inch of room from the top. We call that headspace. And then I use this here little plastic spatula to debubble, get all the excess air out of the jars. Give the lids a little wipe. Put my lids down, rings on, finger tight, just barely tightening them. And then I spread them out inside my canner. First filling the bottom rack. Then I start again with 6 more jars. The same process, packing with chicken, topping them off with some hot broth. I use the strainer just to make sure no extra matter gets in there. Getting the extra bubbles out of the fluid because the chicken will hold bubbles. Wiping the rims, making sure they're clean so I get a good seal. Lids and rings, just use 2 to 3 fingers to tighten and continue filling up the canner. these two don't look trustworthy. So when they cool, they'll go in the refrigerator and get used right away for some chicken soup. There's that little piece of burnt chicken I made. Whew. So we'll take a little break now and I'll show you a few things in the new kitchen. We kept our refrigerator. It works wonderfully and it's right there in the corner. And this here little archway is what leads to the dining room and living room. We've got some gardening supplies up on top of the new counter. There's the counter with the canning we've been working on and the sink. We moved the sink over to the middle of the room so that I wouldn't have to face the wall when I was doing dishes. There's our back door. And now here on the side is the start of the utensils for the cooking area. The stove with some of the canning equipment on top of the stove right now. That left cabinet is full of spices. And if you look down the counter, there's a nice prep area there. We've got lots of big counters. The lighting underneath is really nice because my eyes aren't so great. And so that lighting really helps me see what I'm doing. We started with 23 pounds of thighs. And we cooked them, deboned them, separated them out into chicken and broth. And now we have 15 cans of thigh meat. We have 7 quarts of broth and 2 pints of broth. Don't those look lovely? Well, thank you so much for watching. So this is our first video and we're only just getting started. We have a lot of ideas, but we don't really know exactly how this is going to turn out. So if you have some suggestions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. One thing we're really looking for is a name. We don't really have a name yet. All right. Thank you so much.